Okay, thank you very much. And then with the presentation, I'll keep you, please keep yourself mute if I forget to, but I'll keep you all on mute. We'll go through each slides and each sections of the slides, and we'll give you opportunity to ask any questions if you have any after that slide or after that section. Also, there is a comment section as well where while I'm presenting, if you have any question, feel free to drop questions in the chat section, and we'll visit that as well. So let's start the presentation. I quickly want to go through the agenda about today's presentation. Our idea is to cover as much information as we can for this particular presentation. In the past, there has been so many questions about our charts. What is wisdom? What is our model? What are our learnings and what our actual versus forecast? All those questions will be answered today in the presentations. We are also going to share our trading strategy, our participant account history, and our product and services and so forth. So this presentation, I'm confident that it will be very informative for all the participants who is joining today. So moving on to the first slide, what is Wisdom369? And Wisdom369, to be honest, I'm very excited today to be sharing the first presentation of Wisdom369. It feels like it took decades of work to where we are now. As you can see that we have spent 10 plus years in our research and analysis and building an algorithm to which forms Wisdom369. So Wisdom369 was born earlier this year, but the seed was planted 10 plus years ago by the two individuals who had who comes from the same background, who had the same passion about designing something or creating something that can forecast, that can be used to forecast a financial instrument. And that is what Wisdom369 is. And what is Wisdom369 model? So we use Wisdom369 model or model as a word in a lot of our forecasts or in a lot of our analysis or the research that we share with the participant in the past. The Wisdom369 model is based on calculating positive and negative values of a particular instrument based on a certain time and price cycles. So people in the past have asked me questions, what is positive and negative values? And to answer that question, I have to answer from a perspective of an atom. As you know, that atom exists in everything. I'm going a bit in science, but that is just a bit of background about Wisdom369. So atom exists in everything, and it consists of electron, neutrons, and protons. So protons are positively charged, electrons are negatively charged, and neutrons are neutrals. And we apply this principle. We apply this principle on our mathematical model and drive positive and negative prices using this principle. And that is why we say positive and negative values. Our model is based on mathematical sequence, which we believe it repeats over and over like patterns in financial markets. And after spending 10 plus years on research and backtesting, and doing a lot of testing, again, we came with this mechanical model, which will accurately forecast the trends for us. And there will be no human judgment will be required. So our proposition is that we do not use our human emotions or fundamentals to forecast our trends. It's just a mathematical model. It should work like a mechanically to forecast the trends that we show it to you. I'm just going to pause very quickly. If anyone have any questions about wisdom and about our model before we go to the next slide. Someone is asked, what is 369? To answer that questions, I think I will ask you to Google 369 and see what it comes up. If you're able to know, then good luck with that. Oh, it's a Nikola Tesla. Okay, I'll take your word for that. Any other questions, guys, about Wisdom 369 or what is our model? I think no questions, so let's move on to the next slide. So how to use our predictive charts. So we've been sharing our charts regularly. In the past, there has been so many questions about how should we read the charts and how should we know the values of the charts and so forth. And we believe that this section will answer all your questions. It also talks about how we read our charts and how we strategize our trade, reading our charts and take position in the market. So the important thing in our charts is always look for the top and the bottom, which is the most important parameter for our forecast, which also indicate that. So if you look at the top and the bottom, it will tell you when to buy and when to sell. If it's a bottom, we buy around that time, and if it's a top on our chart, we sell around that time. And we use like a thumb rule to use 3 to 4% as a stop loss. I should stress it should be a guaranteed stop loss, not only stop loss, for every trade. And if our position gets into positive territory, we try to move our stop loss. We start doing the trailing stop loss. You can use your own strategies using our parameters, using our dates once you know how to use it, how to use our chart, how to read our charts. So once you get hang of it, feel free to use your own entry and exit points based on what we have shown you on our charts. And also, it is very important to remember that it's always look for the change in trend. We consider that these dates as a trend defining dates. So any changes that would happen around these dates. So it is very important that you look out for these trends and the dates that we have provided on our charts. Also, a lot of times we get is on our chart, there is a magnitude, which we have shown you so much magnitude and trajectory. It is very important that trajectory is the most important thing on our chart, not the magnitude. And I will cover more how to use the trajectory and what the magnitude means. So it will be covered in the next few slides that will come in the presentation. So again, I'm going to take a pause. If you guys have any questions, feel free to go through. So someone asked me, can you explain which chart that you have shared recently? 100%. So Vemu, as I said, I will go through our strategy in our charts that we're going to show you in the future slides. Any other question, guys, about our predictive chart? I think why date? Okay, so someone has asked why dates are important for trend. As I said in my earlier slide, that we use negative and positive values. So when negative takes over positives, that's when the trend gets changed. and then vice versa as well. When positive takes over negative, that's when the train gets changed. So it is very important that we trade in this trend. Okay, any other questions? Okay, moving on to the next slide. Please let me know if I'm going too fast, too slow. Let me know. Risk mitigation strategy. So what do we do to mitigate our strategy? So as you see that in the previous slide, we said it's very easy to read our chart. And it's very simple. We don't want to complicate things, but it is very important that our risk is defined, and we have appropriate strategy to take any losses if it happens very quickly. So one of the things that we do is whenever you see our forecast is off, you should take the losses quickly. So when I say quickly is we will able to tell you. So for example, to give an example, so we have said that there will be a top on certain date or around certain date. And we notice that the market is not going as per our predictions. Our model will tell us within hours or day that our forecast is off and we should take the loss. So we will advise you that when to take the loss if we see our forecast is off. And it is very important when we communicate to you that our model is wrong or our forecast is wrong, please cut your losses. We expect that you should take that losses as soon as possible, because market does not wait for anyone. And remember, market is always right, and it is very dynamic. And no price, as I said, no price is unrealistic. So we have to respect that, and we just have to take our losses. There will be plenty of opportunity for us to get into the next trade. So it is wise to save on your capital rather than losing your capital on this one trade. It's wise to cut your losses and save on that capital, and then that capital can be used on the next trade. So please cut your losses as soon as we tell you, and we have to put our emotion on the side and take those losses. With the profitable trade, the way it works, whenever our trades are profitable, we let the profit run by putting the trailing stop loss. We either the profit will run until the cycle ends, or the forecast, as per the forecast that we have shown you on the charts, or the trailing stop loss is hit. So whichever occur first, until then we let our profit runs. One of the biggest traders / investors, George Soros, has put it very nicely. And I really want to re-emphasize this message again, that he's only rich because he knows when he's wrong. And that is why he has survived so far, and he has made incredible amount of money by recognizing his mistakes. So please take the losses early as soon as it is advised. I'm going to take a pause again if anyone have any questions, guys.
Sorry, I might have Damodar here. I might have missed the initial part, so apologies around that. The charts that you speak of, what instruments do you trade?
So the Damodar will cover that in our future. We will cover that in our next slides that we're going to show around.
Okay.
In the coming slides, you'll see what instrument we trade in, and what kind of services we provide as well. And we'll also go through our couple of live charts that we have forecasted for coming weeks.
Excellent. Thank you.
So someone is asking, what is your historical success rate? I think we do not want to brag about our success, and hence we want to do this. So I think we have shared one of the participant historical account with you. She traded in November using our strategy, and her success rate was 91%. So I think there was 34 trades from memory, and 31 was correct. Um, and we will discuss about that as well. Uh, so and this is a perfect opportunity that, as we know, that past result doesn't mean anything for the future, and you could be our judge, and let you speak about our results rather than us talking about it. Any other question, guys? Should I move on to the trade is long term or short term? So Kapil has asked, is the trade is long term or short terms? It again depends on the cycle. It could be either long term or short terms. Some of the trades could be for 2 to 3 days to a week to 2 weeks. So depending how we want to trade, we will let you know through messages. Any other question, guys? These are very good questions. Okay, so there's no more questions. Let me move on to the next slide. Okay, so these are the slides. So someone asked us our success, about our success rates. And I think we want to show you what we have predicted. And we want to show how good or how accurate we are or how wrong we are. It's not to talk about our results or brag about our results. I think it's just to give you guys a confidence that what our model is showing as a trade, and whatever it's forecasting, um, we have seen that we have done 100+ years of back testing, and we have seen incredible amount of, we have seen as very successful results and very successful success ratio as well. And we want to demonstrate that to you guys by going through some of our prediction and what happened. So on 12th of October, we shared on Twitter that we expect this fall to get stronger by end of month, and we'll plan to sell quantity from today and 100% by 14th of October. We're talking here about S&P 500. So we predicted that the fall will get stronger by the end of the month. Hence, we are short on S&P 500. Let's see how did we go on S&P 500. This is the investing.com chart. This is the spot price. This is a New York time as well. So on 12th of October, we said that S&P will make a top, or S&P will go down from 12th of October. And we predicted this fall. So if you can see clearly on the chart that from 12th of October, it went down till 30th of October. And if you can see, the fall is significant. So to put things in perspective or in numbers perspective, if I do that, if I see, let's say if price is 3560 tentatively, or 3550, that you would have sold at, and the price that you would exit at 3240. So you do the math, that's almost 300 points, I guess. So this was the fall that we predicted way before it happened. That is the important thing. So we were always right on this trend. Let me go to the next slide, and I'll get back to you on, there are a few slides I'll cover, and I'll get back to you on question and answer. So let me go to the next slide again. I think there's one more point here to know, that our model turned bullish in the middle through this original forecast was till end of the month. So I'll explain you in the next slide. So by 22nd, so this particular fall happened from 12th of October till 30th of October. However, model was saying that by 22nd, model was saying that the model has turned into positive and was saying that there will be a big up move. And this is what we tweeted on 2nd of November. Our model turned positive by 22nd, 23rd of October, but we have not seen that rally yet. Our model suggests the first stop be in place by 14th of November. And And again on 2nd November, we tweeted there is only 2 weeks left. So there was only 2 weeks left, and there was a no rally till then. And we were keep saying that we were going, our model is predicting a huge rally, and up until 2nd November, we did not see that rally. So people were doubting it, but we were very confident in our model, and we said if the rally did not happen, now it has only 2 weeks before the cycle change. So we expect that these 2 weeks we will see a raging bull kind of rally or a ferocious rally, which will make a higher high by 14th of November. So let's see how did we go. So this is 2nd of November. So it made a bottom on that day, and then it made a top on 16th. And during this time there was election, there was volatility, US election, as we know, and the volatility is huge. And election could have gone to either one, but we were confident with our prediction that model has shown us a positive energy, so positive values, and it has to reach a higher high by 16th of November, and it did. From 2nd of November till 16, there was a massive rally. And again, that was, let's say, conservatively, if you get on 3,300 points till 3,600, that is still 300 points in the space of 15 to 14 days. Again, let me go to the next chart. I'll cover a few more charts, and then we'll have all the question and answers. And this is our particular chart where this is like a long-term trend. We are expecting some correction on 17 to 18/19th of November. So basically what we are saying here is there will be some correction on either 17th here, or either 18th, or maybe 19th. So either between these 3 dates, there will be some correction. After that, we are expecting a handsome rally to make a higher high. Again, the correction happened somewhere around here, which was 19th. We precisely predicted the exact date of the correction. It started the correction as we predicted on 17, which we have highlighted. As you can see, the line here is 16th of November, and the correction happened on 17, and then it rallied from there. Again, this is just highlighting the accuracy of our model whenever it forecast. We're taking different instrument this time. So we're talking about Nifty 50. If people are not aware of Nifty 50, it's similar to S&P 500. It's an index of India consisting of 50 shares. So with Nifty 50, on 21st of October, 3:58 p.m., which is a Sydney time, that was 10:30 a.m., roughly 10:30 a.m. India time. We were predicting a flash crash until tomorrow. That's what we tweeted. And it was trading around 12K when we shorted Nifty. So let's see. So again, this is India time. So when we tweeted, or when we predicted the flash crash, Nifty was somewhere around there, which was 12K. And then you can see within few minutes or hours, it just had a massive crash from 12K to 11,780. That's almost, or 11,780, even if you take that, there's almost again 200 points within few hours. Nifty crash. Again, this was predicted by our model way in advance before it happens. So we started doing gold forecast not long ago. We never did gold in the past, and our first forecast was perhaps it's on 1st December. We managed to get the as you know, that we use historical data to do the forecasting. So we just managed to get our hands on the gold data, hence we are able to forecast gold. Again, on first, we believe some sort of bottom is to be in place yesterday or might take today in gold. It shows non-stop rally till 4th of December, hence we bought at current spot. And then in few days later, so this is, let's take this particular tweet first. So we're saying that some sort of bottom is already done on 1st of December and it's going to rally till 4th. Let's see how we go. So we correctly predicted, the model correctly predicted bottom on 1st of November, 1st of December. So this is 30th of November. So it predicted the bottom happened on 30th and then it rallied from there. If you go back, and then on the 9th, we said the interim top has done on the 9th, and then there's a downside till 15th of December, and we are selling short on gold. Again, on 9th, we correctly predicted top, and then we saw the downwards move on gold from that day onwards till 15th, as we can see. Currently, we have shared our gold forecast, most recent one on Twitter, and I think on various WhatsApp groups. We are short on Twitter. At the moment. Currently, it's 10 points. I think it's, last I checked, it's 10 points away from our price. But we are very confident that gold will be shattered in next few days, as per our forecast. So keep an eye on gold forecast that we have shared. Have a look and let us know how it went. So before I go into this particular chart, let me take a pause for any questions. If you want to go through those charts again, let me know, and then we'll go through. So just give me a second if anyone has posted any questions. Okay. All right. So guys, any questions about the charts that we have shared? What do you think? Okay, there is someone. Vemu has asked, all your forecasts are based on your algorithms. Yes, that is correct. All our forecasts, as we said, our model works mechanically. We don't use emotions. We don't use any kind of fundamentals. It just spit out results for us. So definitely, it's all algorithm based. Any example of trade where you cut losses? Yes, Damodar, we will share that in the learning slides. We have prepared a couple of slides where the forecast went for everyone. The forecast was off, and I think this is the next slide, which says actual versus forecast, where forecast was off or for everyone. But I will explain you where we went wrong. How does the future? Sorry, there's another question. How does the future even gets picked up in your forecast, given you are sometimes doing it days before? So Rosa has asked me, how do you forecast? So Rosa, as I said, we use historical data to prepare our forecast. And I explained earlier in my presentation that we use negative and positive values. We apply those principles on the historical data, and then through that we come up with a forecast based on that, and that's how our forecasts are prepared. Again, there was another questions. What happens when there's some panic market news? Algo cannot be trusted then, right? Vemu, I think that is a very good question, but we believe if there is any news, then our algorithm will forecast that beforehand. I know it sounds very promising how it can be done, but I'll give you an example. U.S. election, before the U.S. election results, we predicted a massive rally in S&P 500. There was a lot of volatility in the market. It could have swung either way, but our model was adamant, and it was showing a positive move for S&P 500, and it should make a higher high, and it did. So what are the news or the panic market news that happens around the globe, the model will somehow factor that in, and it will spit out uh, uh, the trend according to the news. Was COVID crash predicted? Just curious, not being a critic here. No, these are good question, Vemu. So I think we did not. We started forecasting post COVID. So, but definitely, if we go back to a forecast, we did a lot of testing. Back then, there was nothing we can show you or to prove you like we have now, where we put things on Twitter beforehand. So it gives us a timeline that. Uh, what we are saying is accurate and not incorrect. So we do not have anything to show you whether COVID crash was predicted. Do you predict only indices or individual share sections? Or so we need 40 plus years of data to forecast to do a forecast. And indices generally, even not even indices, does not have those kind of data. So what we do is with the stocks, we can predict as well. If the company has 40 plus years of data, if any one of you are interested, currently, as you know, it's very expensive and difficult to get data. If any one of you are interested to predict stocks, any particular stocks, please share the data if you can, the historical data. We need 40 plus years of historical data, and stock has to be that old, obviously, and we will be able to do that. Um, okay, so how to identify top and bottom? I'll go through how do we identify top and bottom in our charts, in our current forecast that we have in our presentation. So I'll cover that in shortly. Assume that you will cover this later. Do you predict intratrade too? Yes and no, depending on the cycle. If it is, then we can. But if it is not, then we will do long term as well. Okay. I think there has been no questions coming through. Any other question, guys? These are very good questions. Please keep on sending these questions. Okay. You can ask me the question as well, guys. You don't have to type in. Like, feel free to ask questions. Let me, if I think there's no questions, let me go to the next slide. Okay, so these are the slides that we going to show what we forecast and what happened, and there's some of the learnings as well where things can be off, and when we exited. So this is one of our forecast. Obviously, the blue line is our forecast that we predicted is S&P 500, and the orange line is obviously actual. To your eyes, this looks absolutely incorrect. That your forecast is absolutely wrong. But give me a moment, and I'll perhaps prove you otherwise. And as if you recall in my earliest slide, I said um, magnitude is not important in our forecast. Always the trajectory is important, and this is where you will show how magnitude was off. So if you look at this chart, on the second we said sorry, on the third we said uh, uh, or we can start with second. On the second we said there's going to be some sort of top or interim top or the top for us, and it did make a top, but the magnitude was a little bit off. And then on third we said market is going to fall, and it should make a bottom, and you can see clearly here market made a bottom on third on actual. However, our magnitude was incorrect. Our magnitude was off. As you can see on our chart, we said it's going to fall certain points, but it did not. The fall was very small. And this is where we said the magnitude is not important. And then we said it's going to rally on fourth and then make a top. It made a top on fourth precisely. However, again, the magnitude was off. And then we said it will make bottom on seventh or eighth. And I think in one of the chart we said eighth or ninth as a bottom. Obviously, we said eighth or ninth, even though the chart is showing that. But in our comments, we said eighth or ninth, and it made a bottom on ninth here. So in this particular trade, we were short from here till ninth. Obviously, the magnitude was off significantly. As you can see, it happened as we forecasted, that it made top on fourth, or if it made bottom on third, or it made bottom on ninth. But it was off. We did not make money. I think we lost, I think, 40 points on this particular trade. Because the magnitude was off for us. So, and this is where one of the learning is where we can go wrong, especially with the magnitude. I'll share under the slide, and then we can. There's one more slide after this, and then we can go questions about this learning. So this is the perfect another example. Here, I think people say how to look at the tops and bottoms. This is our top, and this is our bottom, for example. So let's say our model is still bullish, but spotted a heavy correction in the near future, as you can see on our predictive chart. 30th November seems to be a down day. 30th November seems to be a down day, which is that. Top to be in place on 1st or 2nd December. So which is first is here or second is here. So we're saying at the 1st or 2nd, it should make a top. And then there should be a non-stop down move from 2nd December till 8th or 9th. So previous chart we showed you, we were talking about this particular forecast. And after this correction, we are seeing a rally, and we'll share the more information in due course. So I want to run that again, guys, and this will make more sense. So this is forecast, and this is actual. Again, the source is investing.com. So 30th, we said down move, so it did happen down. And then top to be made on 1st. So again, forecast, the magnitude was, our magnitude was smaller, but obviously the actual happened bigger. And then I think we said 3rd, it's going to make a bottom. Obviously the magnitude was, we said it's going to be longer, but it was not. It was a smaller magnitude. And then make a top again on 4th, and then down on 8th and 9th. So it still happened as we forecasted, but because the magnitude was wrong, we could not make money on this particular trade. In fact, I think, as I said, we lost, I think, 40 points on this trade, given that our timing and exit was off when we traded this instrument. Okay, so I think there was a second example. So before we go into the next slide, let me go and see if anyone has a questions. Sorry. Okay, so someone has asked, any incorrect forecast or learning results in changes to your model? What happens when you make learning from incorrect forecast of trend or magnitude? So I think I just covered that. Is that your question? Can you Munir, can you ask me? I didn't get your question.
So you mentioned that you were not correct with the trend that you have shared earlier in in your slide, and you did some learning that the magnitude was not correct. But then what happened with your model? Did you make any changes to your model or algorithm?
No. So I think what we're trying to say is that when we put our charts out there and we show we magnitude on our charts, what we're saying is don't look at the magnitude. You always look at the trend. And I'll cover that in our current charts, what we mean by that. So if we say, for example, I'm making some hand gestures. If we say the fall is that much, for example, and if it happens that much only or smaller than that, then we cannot predict. I think no one can predict magnitude, to be honest, and no one can. And if they do, they can't be correct all the time. And that is why we're saying to all our participants that when you read our forecast, always go on the trend, always trade on the trend, never go on the magnitude. The model will always get you on the right side. If you trade with the trend, you will be always on the right side. And only time when we can go wrong is within the few hours or a day. We can see if our forecast is off. We will able to tell you guys what we've predicted to be a rally. It did not. It's not going to happen. It's going to be opposite way. Did I answer your question, Munir?
Yeah, thanks.
And I'll cover more in my current chart as well.
Cool, thanks.
Vemo, you said, can you describe 40-point loss? Can you convert to dollars? I will cover that in my strategy session. So there is a one slide about how we trade and what strategy you use, and you will able to make out dollar amount on that. So let me get to the slide and we'll cover that. Any other question, guys, before we move on? Okay, let's go to the next slide. Wisdom369. Okay, so this is the current chart and current forecast. So if I have to trade, if I give you this chart and you want to trade, how would you trade? Actually, let me do this. What we have shared so far, let us see if you can suggest something. If we give you this chart, can anyone tell us how you will personally trade using the chart? What would be your strategy, whether you will go long term, you go intraday, you go short term? Is anyone willingly participating, telling us what would you do if you see the current chart that we have on our screen, and tell us how you're going to trade using this chart?
I could give it a try.
100%, man, go for it.
Yeah, so on the 9th, I would enter the market long.
Yep.
And stay in hold position until the
Yep.
12th,
okay, that's good.
sorry, 11th.
Yep.
And then on 11 I could sell it off and either go short again.
Yep.
Until the short, I mean I will sell my sell a short, and then
Yep.
Sorry, the dates are not so clear. So 14th I will go again. I will buy back.
Yep. Let me share this.
So 1 minute. If I go short, some platforms only allow intraday short, right? We have to buy back at the end of the day. Or
we're not doing options, we're trading CFDs.
Okay.
So okay. Just plain vanilla CFDs. So okay. Just
on the
trade
14th.
as a Yep.
So from a chart, it looks like on the 14th I have to buy back again.
Yep.
The position till 19th.
Yep.
And then it means your chart says sell it off, but
yep.
Going flat. But if I follow the chart, then I'll sell off the positions.
Yep.
Buy back on the 30th, 26th. Sorry,
yep.
16th.
25th. Yep. You mean 25th, right?
Yeah. I mean,
yep.
Red line basically means starting of the red line, you sell it off.
Yep.
And starting of the green line means you basically.
Yep. Okay. I get your point. Thank you very much. There's someone has commented, I think, wait, let me go through my comments again. Sorry. There's quite a few. Okay. So one of the trader is saying go long for the whole chart. Another trader is saying go long. With trailing stop loss, I only go long and use trailing profit. Okay. One of the other traders saying buy today. I can go long from 9 till 24th and doing some long and short in betweens. One is saying 21st. Okay. All right. So let's see what we will do. So what we will do, as I said, the magnitude. So I think a lot of times we go into the magnitude, and I want to re-emphasize that magnitude. Don't look at the magnitude. Always look at the trend. So, what we will do, we'll go long on 19th until 24th or 25th. So we'll cut over. So I know there is an opportunity in between. So there is a red line on 11th or on 14 closing, or there is a 21st closing. The market will drop. So there are few red lines in between, but you have to be very quick to get in and get out. And by doing that, there could be a time where you might just miss out the whole rally. So I will just go long and just use my trailing stop loss or trailing profit until this strategy, because you have to be very quick. So imagine, just to hypothetically, let's say we said from 18 on 21st, this is going to be a big fall. What if just market fall, I don't know, 5 points or 10 points, and then it started to go up again? So we could have missed out on that rally. And I think this is what we expect. I think you should, the more and more you see the actual versus forecast, the better you will get understanding our charts and learn from our charts. But our strategy will be just go long from 9 till 24th. Today, 21st. Today's 21st. I think today's 21st, right? This is a good and this is a US time zone anyway. So it will be 21st in US in few hours. So this is a good opportunity to buy and go long for this trend if you are not on this trend from here. Sorry, hang on. Let me check if anyone has any questions. So I think you are only sharing only week to forecast. Then how can we hold it for long term? Sorry, if we are to trade just twice a week, will this model help? All charts are in US time zone. Yes. Okay. So answering first questions, let me check if I have not missed 9th. You mean? Okay. I think you are only sharing 1 week. So we will to answer this question, we'll share our forecast based on our cycle. So if we see the cycle is a long term or short term, we will share according to that. So you will able to, if it's a, some of the charts might be only for 4 days. So that means that cycle for us, whether it's a long or short, it's only for 4 days, and there will be new forecasts from that day onwards. So you will always have opportunity. So you will trade for only those 4 days, whatever it is, long or short, and you get out after 4 days, and then you will come up with a new strategy after that. Some of the questions are, if I were to trade twice a week, will this model help? It will be if you go long term. Yes, it will help. Some trade, I think the one that we showed the current chart was S&P 500, and I think it went for almost a week or 2 weeks. So absolutely, this could help you as well. And depending on the strategy as well, some traders like to do intraday, get in, get out, as Damodar mentioned, that he will get out on red lines and get in on the green lines. So every trader is different. So definitely this will help. All charts are in US time zone. Yes, that is correct. S&P 500 is in US time zone. Gold is in US time zone. Nifty would be in Nifty time zone. The historical chart that we have shown you. What are the scenarios that makes you change the forecast, and often how? Okay, so what are the scenarios that make you change the forecast, and how often does it happen, I guess? So as I said, I think let's take an example. So we said, let's take a live example. This is a good question. So let me go back to the current chart. So we said, for example, don't take it literally. So we said that USD is going to make a top on 11th, interim top of 11th, and the second one on 18th. We will find out within a few hours or a day whether this is happening or not, and we will able to tell you to get out of this cycle. So if this cycle we have predicted to be long, and we started to go see something like this, then we know that our forecast is wrong, and we will reverse our trade and go short. So it will give you an opportunity to get out of the trade. What trading platform do you suggest or use? We use IG Markets, and it's not a recommendation. Everyone is different. If you do not have a CFD providers, you may use IG Market. I'll talk more about that in the future slides. Any focus specifically for ASX? Yes, Ravi, we're working on ASX. We're working to get historical data for ASX. As you can appreciate, it's very time consuming, and it's very costly to get the ASX data at the moment. So we're working towards it, and hopefully we'll be able to share your ASX forecast soon. Any other question, guys? Did I miss anything? So I think this is just most recent, just while we're talking, something is happening in the Nifty. So Nifty has fallen, I think, 3%. But in our chart, our magnitude, and this is the going back to the magnitude, I think you don't look at the magnitude. Magnitude was very small, but I think the fall was 3%. And this is a perfect example that you don't go by the magnitude on the chart. Always stay on the trend. What type of data? Just we can talk about that. We just need a historical closing data. If you can get us, we need the historical data, and I think we are working on it, and we'll get that as soon as possible. Any other question, guys, before we move on? Okay, let's go back to our presentation. So let's talk about the goal. So this is our current goal forecast. I think one thing a lot of people are doing or have done in the past is when they look at this chart, they think this is the exact representation of future. And I want to say that this is not exact representation of the future. This is very similar how the future will unfold. Hence, magnitude is not important. Again, I'm sounding like a broken record, but it is very important that you don't go by magnitude, always do the trend. This is the current goal forecast. I think our strategy will be go short till 25th. Currently, we are short on gold, and I don't know the current price, but the last I checked was, I think, 10 or 15 points difference from our price, but we strongly believe gold will be shattered in next few days as we have forecasted on our chart. So any questions on this? Can we move on? Let me go to the next one. This is very important, guys, and I think this will answer some of the questions that have about how much loss we made. These are our trading rules, and we want to treat you like a Bible for our rules, and it is very imperative we follow these rules. So what we do, how we do it, how we divide our capital. So assume that you trade in one instrument, and when we say one instrument, let's say you only trade in S&P 500. We want you to divide that capital, assuming starting with $10,000, in 10 equal portions. That would be $1,000 or 10% of $10,000. And we want to use one portion on each trade or on each instrument that you trade in. So second example is if you trade in 3 instruments, let's say you trade in S&P 500 or in our gold forecast, or you trade in our Aussie US dollar as Aussie US dollar as an instrument. I will, assuming you start with $30,000 capital, I will divide the 30,000 into 3 instruments, which is 10,000 each for S&P, gold, and Aussie USD, and then divide further that 10,000 into 10 portion, which is 1,000 each, and do 1,000 as your loss on that particular instrument or on that particular trade. This is the most important rule, guys. I cannot stress about this because we have learned through our participants that were part of it previously. One participant made, we gave them 7 correct trade. He made very small profit on those 7 trades. And the 8th one, he was so confident that he put all the money in that and he lost, he lose more than what he made in the 7 trades. So we cannot chop our rules as we see please. Even if you are correct for 7, even if our forecast, our advice or our trade recommendations are correct for 7 days or 10 times or 8 times, I want you to stick to as the first time you're trading. Always follow this rule, and this will ensure that you will never go wrong and you will always make money. We have done, as I said, we have done hundreds of years of back testing on all the instruments. So we have gone back to S&P 500, did 100 years of testing. S&P was not born 100 years ago. We used Dow Jones data. I think it was born in sometime in 1950, but we have back tested that as well. And we believe that we cannot go wrong on each instrument more than 3 times in a one go. That is why we came up with this rule that 10% or 10% of your capital on one instrument should be the ideal way to trade. Always remember and apply rule 1, regardless if you get a winning streak of 20, always use the same rule. And always use guarantee stop loss. This is very, very important because we trade in CFD. As you know, CFD is a high risk product, and your losses could be more than your account. So always use guarantee stop loss. If the market opens gaps up or down, depending which side of the trade you are, you don't lose your account. You always lose your allocated capital to that particular trade. So it is very important. I want to stop here. Just if anyone have any questions about our trading style.
Hi, Nikhil. Alok here. I just have a question just to come back on the rule 1, as you said.
Yeah.
I'm just assuming we trade on one instrument. So let's say S&P 500. I start with $10,000 capital and $1,000 per trade. Now, when your charts come out, let's use the current example for whatever chart you were showing before. So when we trade on CFDs, we need to put in a certain amount of margin, and it's easy to work out based on that how much are we going to lose if the trade goes in the wrong direction. So we can maximize our losses up to $1,000. But how do we work out the quantity? Because we need to put a certain amount of margin as well. So
I think you
how does
work
that
out
calculation work?
You work out on the basis of stop loss. So let's say
we are entering the market at 36.50.
Yes. So let's say you are entering market at 36.50, and we said to you your stop loss. We are on long. So let's say we are long on S&P 500. We are recommending you go long on S&P 500. Entering at 36.50, your stop loss is 100 points, which makes to
is the stop loss.
550 stop loss, and you do 10 contracts. That means your loss is $1,000. So your quantity should be not more than 10 contracts.
Not more than 10 contracts.
Absolutely. Right. So this is depending on your stop loss, depending on the stop loss that we give to you, you should adjust your quantity as per that, and make sure not any given time you are risking more than 10% on that particular trade
of the capital.
Of that capital. Absolutely. So if your capital go from, let's say, $10,000 to $20,000, your 10% goes up to $2,000. Does it make sense? Your risk appetite goes up because we're still doing 10%. So you do it on a cumulative basis.
That's right.
So if it goes other way around, if it goes from 10,000 to 7,000, then your loss should be $700. Does it make sense?
Yes, that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, how do you give stop loss when you look at the magnitude? So we said, as I said, we do 3 to 4%, and we will also tell you the stop loss is we generally, the thumb rule is 3 to 4%. But we will also tell you the stop losses when we'll start providing our service through SMS. Sorry, any other question, guys, before we move on? Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Let me share this. So I think we promise in our expression of interest that we will share one of our participant account history. And these are the couple of screenshot of our participant, what she has done. The information is for the month of November. As you can see that from 1st of November till 30th of November, how much she has made, and I think she has made around $5,500 after all the fees. So I think there are some fees as well. This was before the fees. I think we don't know exactly how much. She hasn't shared with us how much was her trading account, but I think she would have started around 5K. So that was the amount of money she made. The important thing for us to watch out is this winning ratio. So as you can see, we gave the 34 trades to her, out of which 31 were closed in profit. And that is very important, that 31 trades were closed in profit. And again, this is a very good information for long-term, short-term traders. Our average hold time, or her average hold time, was 3 days and 21 minutes. So she would have hold the trade for 3 days on an average, and then she would have closed the trade within 13 hours. So any losses that she would have made, we would have advised you within the 13 hours. And this is where we can tell that if our forecast is off, we will able to pick it up way before we go deep into the cycle. So we will able to get out quickly. The best market, this is some further information. The best market from a return perspective was India 50, which is Nifty 50. There was 85% trades correct. But from a win perspective, I think S&P was spot on, like 20 trades were done, 19 was correct, and the return was 95%. We did one small trade testing purposes for oil, and that was correct as well. So this is just the accounting history for our participant. I'm just going to pause again if any of you have any questions. Okay, I think there are no questions, so let's move on. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask question if you have. Okay, so what are our products? Someone asked earlier in the presentation what our products. So we basically provide. We will in the future will start provide our services in indices, commodities and currencies, and then we have prepared the chart for S&P, Nifty, Aussie USD, and gold. So when we started early, when Wisdom was born earlier this year in March, we had the data for S&P 500, so we are forecasting for them. And obviously, and you appreciate that it's very expensive to get the data and it's very tedious to do all the forecasting and everything. So after doing all the tradings and stuff, we managed to get our hands on gold and Aussie USD data. We're working on ASX, is in the pipeline, and it should be up very quickly, hopefully early next year. And then oil as well. So we'll start providing these services as well. I'll quickly go to the next slide and I'll come back to the question. So what are our services? So what we're going to do, so we will provide you the charts that you get upfront, but we'll also provide you and communicate our trades, entry and exits in real time via SMS. So whatever we are trading, we'll send you a message, the buy or sell, whatever we're trading in, the stop loss, and any comments that we have for the trade. So we'll communicate everything in real time via SMS. And this research program, we're expecting to run for 30 to 60 days to cover all the cycles and to see whether you can make money in your demo account or not. So I'm going to stop for a second if you have any questions. Do need to be in front of laptop during US time zone? It would be nice. But I understand we are in Australia, and I think this is very good questions. That volatility in US market happens when we are asleep, or it happens, I think around 1:30 now or 12:30, depending on the time zones. So that's when the US market opens, and that's where you'll see the big volatility in S&P 500. We have given you the charts, so you can make an informed decision beforehand. However, we will also send you a text message. We may send you a text message during the middle of the night. We understand that not everyone would be awake, and it's a different time zone. If you check the message next morning, if the trade is against you or not in your favor, we recommend not to trade at all. You wait for the next opportunity. Or if it's in your favor, you can still take out the trade. But if some reason you missed out or did not get in, don't get disheartened. There will be plenty of opportunities for us through this model. So don't take unnecessary risk, or don't use our emotions to trade. Any other question, guys, before? Yes, Remy?
Yep. So I've got my account with Interactive Brokers, but I'm very new with this trading thing. So is there any possibility that you can guide us in setting up the initial trades, or make us familiarize with the tool?
So which tool? So we don't use Interactive Broker. So we use IG Markets. So is Interactive Broker use CFDs as a instrument?
Yes. Yep.
So
I've got account with CMC Markets.
So we will try to guide you. Let me think. Because I think not every product we're not familiarized with all the products and all the instruments that are out there, all the CFD providers. If we can, we will able to do that. So let's take this offline and see if we can do something with that, because I'm not familiarized with Interactive Brokers that you mentioned. Okay, any other question, guys? All right, let's move on to that. Sorry. Yep.
I mean, I might have got this right, but still confirming. These trades are all about trading in CFDs, not actual stocks or shares.
No, these are all CFDs, Mike. Yes. So we only trade in S&P index. We trade in indexes, commodities, and foreign currencies. So we don't trade in actual shares. As I said, that to trade in actual shares, our model works on basis of historical data, and we need 40 years plus of data to forecast anything. And as you appreciate that, not many companies out there who's been running for 40 plus years, and if they are, then we don't have historical data for those companies.
Yeah. Okay, great, thanks. And do you also do options?
No, we don't do options. We just do plain vanilla CFDs. We don't trade in options.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are almost there. So the next one, what we are looking for from you for this research program. First of all, thank you very much to participating in our research program. We are looking for a constructive feedback from you guys. We started Wisdom 9 months ago now. And throughout that, we have learned a lot from our participants, especially the constructive feedback we get, and we try to improvise our services based on that. I appreciate if you can provide us any constructive feedback you may have on our services, and we'll try to implement and see whether that works or not. The other thing we're looking for is your demo account statement of the closed trade. So whatever the trades you have closed, we want to see and analyze those accounts, and perhaps we may share that with the future participant for learning as well. This is more for a learning purposes. So if you can, that would be good. And then perhaps if you really like our services, if you believe that what we promise and Wisdom has delivered, then you be our judge, and we appreciate that if you can be a reference for our websites and clients. And with your permission, we would like to share this information with future clients if we have any about our qualification and skills and ability. Let me know if you're not comfortable with this, and I'll take you off. Apart from that, so we almost at the tail end. So this is what we basic, and then lastly, it's not written here. If you really like, feel free to recommend to your friends or your colleagues or any other traders. I know there are a lot of people who do not trade CFDs, but we believe that CFDs are as easy as stocks from a principal perspective. If you use the right strategy and mitigation strategy or your risk strategy, and if you trade with discipline, you will not go wrong in CFDs as well. It's a high risk product, definitely, but you should always follow the discipline. I think for traders, discipline is the key thing. And whatever we have mentioned in our slides, if you follow that, we will not go wrong in CFD trading as well. So the next one, I'm not going to go through this slide in details, but this is for reading for you guys in your leisure time. If you want to know more about CFD, I have covered 3 slides for that. But in a high level, I just want to mention that the CFD is a high level of risk to your capital. The movements are rapidly, and at times you can lose more than your capital, and you may require to deposit further payment as well. And this is where the guarantee stop loss is very important. And CFD might not be appropriate for everyone. So we strongly recommend that you always use your demo account for trading, not the live account. We are not recommending to use live account at all to use our trade. See how you go in a demo account for 30 days or 60 days, depending how we run. And if you can make money, then we can go into the live account. We currently do not have license, so we are not advising you to go and trade our recommendation on live account. However, if you still want to trade in your live account, we strongly recommend that you take an independent advice from your financials, and on base of that, you can trade in your live account. And I still want to stress that we will be not responsible if there are any losses on your live account. So I will not go through these slides, as I said, but I will share you this presentation, and you can go through these slides if you want to. And I have a couple of slides here for IG market. Some people do not have CFD providers, but we use IG market. We might get commission from IG market if you start doing live trades. There is no pressure from us to use IG market. It's totally up to you. If you like it, you can use it. If you have some other CFD providers, feel free to use that. I've said I have attached some of the important information on how to use IG market and how you can set yourself up and so forth, and some of the links. So if you want to go through this slide. Okay, the next one is we coming to the end. What you need to do is how, if you have any questions that you think about after this presentation, or if you have any other questions about our research program, or if you want to opt out of this research program, feel free to get in contact with me through any of these medium, through our website, through emails, or through phone numbers. Feel free to reach out to us, and we are more than happy to answer any questions that you have. And the last not least, most important thing, this is a disclaimer for you guys, and let's hope and prove together that money can be made through Wisdom369 model. We have seen it. We know that it can be made, but we just want you to be our judge using our model, and you tell us whether we can make the money or not. All right. So any questions? I'm just going through this question. Yep. Sorry, go
I
on.
have a question, Nikhil.
Yeah.
There are two questions. You might have mentioned this earlier when I was not, when I had not joined. First, is this a full-time thing that you're doing, or is this something that is your?
Working, I think it's a startup, so it's obviously we're juggling between two things at the moment, and we are spending so much time on this as well. So it is a full time, but obviously the hours we cannot define the hours anymore.
Yeah. And when eventually, see, this is now right now you're asking us to join for research purposes of research. And suppose eventually people want to join this service of yours, then what is your monthly fee that you charge? There must be a fee or something,
I
right?
think we haven't. We will get back to you on that. We haven't finalized the pricing yet. It's still in discussion, but it's not going to be. It's going to be nominal pricing, depending how you want to trade with us. One thing we are clear that it can be used on a month by month basis, or you can do it for a yearly as well. So we will share you more details in due course once we believe that people are ready to trade.
Thank you.
And how many trades are we
So
expecting in a week?
So it
Do you have-
varies. It's going to be vary depending on the cycle. Some cycle will be longer, some will be shorter. There is no thumb rule how many you'll get, but I think let's say between 10 to 15 a month, you will get around that many trades.
Right. And like, do we need to do some sort of registration process to get
No, I
those?
think you already signed up through
Yep.
our program, so I already have all your details. So I think there is a couple of questions here. Someone has asked, how do we register? So we already have your phone number. So what I will do is I'll take the screenshot of all the individual or the participant who has joined, and then I'll mark against my register, and then I'll once we have new trades, we'll start sending you the text messages. So keep an
Yep,
eye
sure.
on text messages when you get. I just believe that you have opened your demo account and you guys are all ready to go. So I think you'll see text message in the next couple of days,
Yep.
hopefully, if there is any
All right.
trade.
Thank you.
Yep.
I don't know about the entire crowd, but I have done trading in shares, stocks, and a little bit of options. I've never traded in CFD. So, is there a way that you could do a small demo or give a minute's?
I think there is nothing I have at the moment, but what I can do, we can take it offline. Why don't you send me a note and then I can explain you offline how you can trade CFD. It's very similar to stocks, how you trade CFDs. It's not different. I think it's only, as I said, you have to know you have to be first is discipline and make sure you have the right mitigation or risk strategy to mitigate your risk.
Okay, thank you.
So let's talk about this offline as well. So I think Munir have a question that I have answered that we'll send you the text messages. Yes, we will send you the text message. Kapil said, I mainly invest in medium and long-term ASX and want to learn S&P and other commodity. You will send us a demo account details. Kapil, can you explain? So I think that I'll send you this presentation. So I think Damodar, this will be good as well. I'll send you this. I will circulate this presentation to all the participants who are present on this call. On that presentation, there is a link to IG Market, and if you click on the link, there's a couple of videos as well that IG Market has prepared and will show you how to trade on CFDs. And it will also help you on the demo account as well.
And Nikhil, can you share the recording as well along with the slides?
Yes, we'll share the recording as well. Yes. Okay. Any other question, guys? I think we are very good with the timing. It's almost 9. Just 5 to 9. I think silence. I take it there is no questions. I really appreciate your time. We thank you from the bottom of our heart that this was our first presentation. We have spent enormous amount of time for Wisdom369, and we appreciate your invaluable time tonight. So thank you very much. If I don't talk to you, I want to wish you all happy holidays. And if you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas as well. We'll be in touch soon, guys.
Thank you, Nikhil.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good day, guys. Have a good night.
Yeah. Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.